We're now back for part 2. Now the question comes down to is, all right, how do we go about and diluting this? Well, the first thing is we already had our solution that we made in our volumetric flask. So what we need to do, we need to empty out the whole thing into our beaker, because that's going to be our next stock solution that we're going to work with. Okay? Now, it's not totally rinsed out in here. It's not clean. So what we're going to do, we're just going to go to the sink and we're going to put in regular water to rinse out the solution. That's there. Okay, so we're going to rinse all that out. You may have to do some shaking to get it out. All right. Now, at this point, we've got tap water in here. We need to go and let's just put in some distilled water. We're going to swish it around on the inside of the flask. This is what the researchers do. They swish that around to clean out the flask. This is lab technique, okay? And then you'll just shake that out. Okay, what's our next thing? What we're going to do, we're going to take 1 milliliter of this original solution that you made. Okay, so we went from stock solution, we went to a diluted solution 1. That's what you had. So what you're going to do, you're going to take 1 milliliter of this. Now, how are we going to take 1 milliliter of this? If you look at your dropper has graduations on there. And if you go up to this line right here, that's the 1 milliliter mark. So that's what we're going to try for. We're going to go ahead, slowly bring it up. Okay, get as close as you can to the 1 milliliter mark. Okay, and it's approximate. I know it's not the easiest thing. Then you're going to take it, now that you got your dropper full of this, okay, now we're going to put it in, and we're now going to add it into our volumetric flask. Okay, so we have it in our volumetric flask. So now we have this. Our next thing now is that we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take our distilled water, we're going to add it into here, okay? We're going to add it in, okay? And you notice how I'm adding it in, slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. And now you notice, hey, it's a little bit more dilute. You're right, it is. Okay. And then I guess you can finish it off with another dropper, okay? And then you can cap it like we've done before. You can cap it, and then you can invert it back and forth. And then once again, you can go ahead and take a sample of it, put it in your already rinsed out cuvette, and then you can weigh it again. You can go through the colorimeter again. Now, some people would say, but wait a minute, you just violated lab protocol, because this was already in contact with this and you didn't rinse it out. You're right, I did. So that means that we're going to have to rinse this out, okay? How do you rinse this out? Well, for us, I'm not going to rinse it out. I'm just going to give you guys another dropper. So we're going to use a few droppers today. And don't sit there and tell me about the environment. Do me a favor on this, okay? But these will work perfectly well for what we're doing. These droppers will work perfectly well, okay? So that's the basic idea. That's really the basic idea behind the lab, guys. So we're going to take I'm going to create the stock solution of food coloring, and I'm probably not going to have the same food coloring for every group. We're going to work with it. I have 2 colorimeters, so I'm going to set them up so that we can go ahead and just pretty quickly go through all the stuff that we need for this. I've done a lab similar to this in AP Chemistry where we were looking at the concentration of food dye in sports drinks. Okay? It's a tricky kind of lab. It is. Just like this one, because the concentration, even though the original concentration of the dye is very, very, very low. Okay, it's unbelievably low, but we're working through it. Okay, That's it for the lab. Signing off.